Israel's offensive against Hamas in Gaza continues. There is a heavy deployment of tanks and artillery on the Gaza border. This is possibly for the ground attack that so far has been delayed, but Israel is set to take that step. Over 3 lakh troops have been mobilized toward the Gaza border by the Israeli government. This will be Israel's third big invasion in the Palestinian-dominated region in the last 18 years. Israel, remember, it was in 2009 that it launched Operation Cast Lead in 2009 that lasted for 15 days. In 2014, Israel's protective edge lasted for 19 days. But this time, Israel's Operation Iron Swords will be different from the past attacks. As per reports, unlike previous attacks, Israel will launch an attack possibly without any prior warning, even though it has constantly appealed for the civilians in Gaza to move to safer locations.
This is part of an axis of evil of Iran and Hezbollah and Hamas. Their goal, open goal, is to eradicate the state of Israel. The open goal of Hamas is to kill as many Jews as they could, and the only difference is they would have killed every last one of us, murdered every last one of us, if they could. They just don't have the capacity, but they murdered an extraordinary 1,300 civilians, which in American terms is like many, many, many 9/11s.
But remember, even days later, and I'm talking about almost 2 weeks now, it's been 12 days now since that brutal massacre in Israel on the 7th of October. Remember the Nova Musical Festival, where hundreds of people, and the numbers are still coming to account, were attacked. This was in Reim that turned into a massacre and many hostages taken away from there. This was the site of one of the worst attacks, and it was chaos completely. Videos have now emerged of what exactly unfolded. Thousands who had attended the party, many of them were targeted, taken hostage when they tried to escape, and many of them are now known as the hostages in Palestine. They were even shooting at lavatories to ensure that nobody survives, even if they're hiding. It was in this location that one of the first brutal images had come forth. Remember Shani Nook, who was abducted when clearly her limbs appeared to be broken, tortured, and the body was dumped in a pickup truck. There was another woman who was seen, and many like her, who were being taken away, who pleaded to be spared, but they were taken away. There's no information about them. Here's a special report now about that festival, and importantly, what is the aftermath looking like. Gaurav Sawant, after these 12 days, went to that location where there was a festival on 7th October, and today just death and destruction.
This is the site of the Nova Music Festival, the Reim Music Festival, and this is where Hamas terrorists landed on hand gliders, came in automobiles and massacred 260 innocent people who were here for an evening of music. Look all around this place. When you look around this place, you there. The camping site. This is where people were listening to music. Soldiers of the Israeli army are still clearing this area. Soldiers walking all around, ensuring that there are no more incendiaries or improvised explosive devices in this area. Imagine hundreds and hundreds of people here to enjoy an evening of music. Then on hand gliders, Hamas terrorists came. They landed firing, and that's just one part of the story. You had Hamas terrorists who came on motorcycles, 3 on a motorcycle, and they were firing indiscriminately into the crowd. Hundreds fled. They hid in toilets, and Hamas terrorists then opened fire at toilets. Then, when people were running in every direction, terrorists opened fire and killed people. And then, worse, they took them hostages. This is where a large number of people were taken hostages. So it was all as part of a plan. There were some vehicles that came carrying ammunition for terrorists. When they ran out of bullets, they just quickly went to that ammunition van, loaded again, came, fired again, and killed people. And then there were those vans that had been brought to take people hostage. People were taken hostage on motorcycles. Young women were abducted. Young women were raped, burnt alive, murdered. All of that happened here and in the kibbutz just next door. Kibbutz Be'eri, Kibbutz Kfar Aza, and multiple other kibbutz. This is where terrorists opened fire. This place gives you the horror even now. Israel yet to come to terms with it. This wasn't a place of a festival. This was a place of massacre. Gaurav Sawant at the RIMS Music Festival venue, at the Nova Music Festival venue in southern Israel, close to the Gaza border, for India Today.